Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. It's yours truly, Jimmy Williams again. I'm back with another great and informative video. Hey, I know it's been a while since you've seen my face. Most of my later recordings have been with just the podcast and other information I've given you without my face. It's just an image in the background. So I thought it was necessary to come on here today and give you a fresh perspective on some things that I think will turn your life around. I'm going to be talking today about some personal experiences and some things that I've seen happen in 2023 that were pretty tragic and pretty bad and, negative, et cetera, et cetera, all the things you can think of on the negative side. But I want to show you how to turn those things around. And it's not easy to do, but I guarantee you, if you follow what I'm going to share with you today and apply these principles in your own life, you will see a significant change. I'm trying to spark you to think and transform your modus operandi. So what do I mean by that? I want you to change how you see things and how you operate your system of the way you do things. And it's not an easy thing to do, but there's been tremendous heartache and tragedy and problems and issues and things that have happened in my life. But all of you listening to this who took the time to listen, I guarantee you, most of you had something that happened this year and you don't know how to bounce back from it. So the title of today's lesson or the message is called How to Overcome Tragedy, Loss, Setbacks, and Depression with the Power of the Spoken Word and the Power of Planning. So write that down. Where do I start? In 2023, January, the first month of the year, I had a very important person that me and Arlene knew in the real estate industry who contacted me about something, and I was late responding back to her. Lo and behold, she was tragically murdered. And I'm telling you, it was horrible. I can't say the person's name, but a lot of you who followed me for the last 3 or 4 years, she worked with me and Arlene. She actually came to my house, and she actually made, some food in the kitchen. I won't say what they were because it'll give it away, but for this person's protection, I won't say that. But, we knew her personally. She worked in the company. She helped us get other people funding, and she was really big in real estate. In fact, she had a real estate deal pending, which probably would have took her over the top. And she was brutally murdered by, somebody she was dating. He killed her and did some horrible things. So I won't get into that, but it was horrible, horrible. And when this thing got back to me, because I found out through her brother, I was crushed. Me and Arlene couldn't believe it. So when tragedy takes place, sometimes it's when you don't expect it. And I'm telling you right now, I still haven't fully recovered from it. I still can't believe it. She was cut down in the prime of her life. A good person. You've probably seen us on videos with her. Again, for privacy reasons, I won't talk about it, but it was devastating. And I can't tell you how I felt about it. Another thing that happened this year was, in 2022, I had one of my favorite mentors. He got a significant heavy stroke. I mean, it was bad. He was a big time pastor in Florida. Again, for privacy reasons, I don't talk about who they are. Very successful. He had several companies. He was in the real estate business. He had other multi-level marketing companies he did, had a big church in Orlando. And if I said his name, you know who he was because he was popular on the TV show TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network. He was a major pastor. And when he got the stroke, it was unexpected. And he's still recovering today. And coming over into 2023, I thought I'd be over it, but I can't tell you there's not a day that goes by where I think about him. He was one of the guys that sat me down and told me, Jimmy, money's not everything. And every time you get someone that calls you and wants you to come to their church or come to their convention, doesn't necessarily mean every calling or every phone call is an assignment. And I learned that from him. And he got overwhelmed with all that he had on his plate and he got sick. And all of this has been weighing on me in 2023. Let me keep going here. My family back home, you know who you are if you're watching this. They are going through something heavy, and I haven't been home in years. And, when you love your family and they're part of your life, because that family structure is how you become the man or woman you are, because that's the foundation is the family. When you see them going through something and you can't do anything but pray for them, it's tough because what I know what they're going through is next to tragic. And it's been going on for a while. I got a phone call from one of my, I can't say it was a family member, but he said, Jimmy, this is 911. And trust me, it was 911. And sometimes all you can do is sit back and put it in the hands of the Most High. Most of you are probably a believer, but those of you who are not, no disrespect to you, but you have to believe in something, because you can't do everything yourself. You have to kind of trust him, or some of you say it, right? We say Yahuwah. That's who I say. Some people say God. Some people say Allah, etc., etc. But that's not important. But sometimes you need a higher power to step in and help, because you can't do everything yourself. And that's all I could do, because I'm so far from the situation, and it's so bad. It's so, it's very, very difficult to try to do something where you don't have the power and the ability to do something. You can't handle everything yourself. And all these things begin to pile on me and my mindset, and not just me, my wife as well, because she's here with me, and, she has things in her, in her life, and we all have personal things we're going through. But when family goes through it, it's an extra thing. It's an extra part of your life and a part of your mind, will, and emotions and your soul that can hold you down and pull you down. So all these things are piling up. Then we get another scare with something with our businesses. Things happen where, we had clients that we were helping out, and we had a third party that wasn't doing their part, and we had collected funds. And so now they didn't produce what they were supposed to do. So we have all these angry clients coming at us. We're talking, refunds we have to give back. We're talking tons of money. All right. And then we had issues with, bills outstanding. And then all of a sudden, my wife and I go through personal things that we can't talk about, because you see my face, you see me and Arlene, you think, they're good. They look good. They look rich. They look successful and all those things, et cetera, et cetera. And I appreciate you saying that. But the reality is, behind the scenes, it's not all cracked up what people think it is. And because of who we are, me personally being a public figure, I can't tell you nothing. I'm not at liberty to do that. The Most High won't give me that liberty. But there are a few of you who are going to watch, and the situation, and you were the ones, that were there to encourage and pray for us and help us in every area that we needed help in. But we can't talk about those things. So you look at me, you go, Jimmy doesn't look like he could get depressed and be down and out. And you have no idea how depression works and what can really happen with a person. I had one of the biggest losses I had was back in 2018. One of my spiritual daughters, I won't say her name, but she passed away suddenly. She was 37 years old, had about 7 children. She was the apple of my eye. My wife can tell you that she loved me and Arlene, and she passed away. I have not recovered from that to this very day. You see me smiling and doing these videos and all of that. You see me all uplifted. You have no idea what men like me and other men and women that are out there that are public figures or pastors or leaders and coaches, you don't know what they go through behind the scenes. I have not recovered. That was 5 years ago. My dad passed away in 2014. Do you know I still grieve him daily? I still see him in my dreams. And I'm like, what are you doing here? You know what it is? My subconscious mind hasn't really let him go yet. And I'm still in pain about it. But I can't talk about it. My wife and I are supposed to be these leaders that don't talk, but just do for everybody around us. And we don't lose sight of that. We understand how important that is. We have to continue to be leaders. And our modus operandi is consistent with being a blessing to others and building our businesses. But behind all of that, we put on our clothes just like you. We cut our hair just like you. Well, me as a man, right? She grows her hair just like every other woman. I'm just being facetious, but you get my point. My point is, we are people. We have real feelings. We get depressed. I'm going to tell you guys something where, most people like me won't ever tell you. Yes, I've gotten depressed. I've considered leaving this planet prematurely. That's very selfish of me, basically saying I was so depressed where I felt like taking my own life. And that wasn't long ago. All these things that came against me and my wife, it put us in a tough place. I had a friend that told me this, and she'll be tagged this. She knows who she is. She said, when people tell you they're okay, it doesn't necessarily mean they're okay. They could be contemplating leaving the planet, jumping off a cliff, taking a bunch of pills, and all these things you don't think that they're capable of doing. In their subconscious mind, it's been feeding the depression, the negative energy, the things that they can't tell people that they're going through because they're trying to be tough. I'm a grown man, and I cry like a baby. And I'm as alpha as they get. My wife can tell you, my wife is very alpha too, but I'm an alpha man, and we complement each other greatly. But we both get depressed. We both get sad at times. We're uplifted most of the time. But there's a few times where it's not like that. And we need to encourage each other to keep each other accountable. So men, if you're out there, I'm praying that you guys find a wife like my wife, Arlene. I'm bragging on her because she's the queen of my life and she's very special. And she's kept me from losing it a lot of times. You need that. But again, just because they say they're fine doesn't mean they're fine. That wasn't my quote. That was a quote of a friend who, again, when she watches this, she'll know she is. She had a friend that was someone that was close to her who committed suicide many years back. And every year she campaigns to help people who are depressed to try to help them come out of it. I'm telling you, I have to cut that. I'm telling you guys, this is a real thing and people need help. And if you need the help, don't be too proud to say, I need help. I need someone to pray with me. I need some counseling. I need someone to help me change my thinking, my thought process. As a man thinks in his heart, a man or woman thinks in his heart, according to the Bible, that's who you are. As a man or woman thinks, so are they. They think negative and down, depressed. Things will happen. They will commit suicide. Just like people that think positive, the power of positive thinking is you're going to do positive things. You're going to change the world. But it starts with your thought process. If I hear people talking poor and all that all the time, I know they're being influenced by something they saw, they read, they heard. It gets down inside. If they're talking rich and all that, it's what they heard, saw, and put in their spirit, in their mind. But I'm talking about protecting your mind. And I'm going to tell you some positive things now. I know that was a lot of negative stuff I told you that happened, but the reason I had to do that I wanted to let you guys know that this is a real matter. You're dealing with a real man here. I have real, problems and issues just like everyone else and frailties. And I'm going to tell you what I did to get my life back on track here in 2023. My wife and I both. One of the things I did was I started speaking more positive over my life. Okay. It's called the power of positive speaking and confessing. You can think a thing all day long, but nothing really happens and it doesn't become a law until you speak it into existence. All right. It's the power of I am. Those of you who read the Bible, when the Father said that I am the Lord your God, you have no other gods before me, that's a declaration of who he is. Well, we are in essence like him, right? We're in his image. And many of us believers who are in the faith, believe that he lives in us. And when you speak, I am positive. I am rich. I am money. I am successful. I am not depressed. I am going to make it. I am a real estate investor, right? I am the best car salesman. I am the best nanny. I'm the best doctor, lawyer, attorney. I am the best student. When you speak those words of your life, those are declarations you speak, and you can change your circumstances fairly quickly. Now, I got away from this because many years ago, I used to carry a little notepad with me and declare certain things and speak certain things. That's my second point about writing things down. But with declaring, you could easily forget and get tied up with the circumstances and you start feeling negative because that's what's coming at you. And you forget to say, I know what the situation is, but that's not who I am. I am this, this, and this over here. I am the best insurance salesperson. I am the best salesperson, period. I am the best entrepreneur in my field. I am the best actor. Whatever you're doing, basketball player, football, athlete, doesn't matter. You have to speak those things over yourself because it goes into the psyche, it goes into the subconscious mind, the more you say and speak it. And the more I started doing that, it began to change. These last few months have begun to change. You're talking about a man back in 2020, my wife and I had one of our best years in business. We did very well financially during the pandemic when people were having problems, but we were speaking, confessing, believing more than we were a few months ago. We fell away from that. Pardon me. And that we fell away from that. And that caused us to have, some setbacks because when you stop speaking and believing, things change and the circumstances that come against you begin to have more power because you're not reminded of who you really are by speaking, confessing. So when you say I am, make sure you don't say negative things because you take on that. If you keep saying I am poor and I am going to die and I'm all the negative things, I don't have this, and they manifest because you are a living soul in a person. When you speak things, they become law in your life. So that was the first thing I did. And I began to see a substantial change, a turnaround instantly. All those bad things I told you, I didn't tell you half of the bad things that my wife and I experienced. That's just a little bit of it. But we were able to change it with the power of confession. Secondly, I want you to listen to this. Now, this is something that my wife taught me, but I never gave her credit for it because I wanted to hear some millionaires say it, right? The first time I heard it was with my wife. She told me, Jimmy, you have to go back to writing things down. If you and I as a couple are going to be very, very successful, you used to do it years ago, you stopped doing it. You need to get a notepad. And here it is right here, guys. My little notepad. I write things down daily in here. Why do I do that? Because just like the book says, and that Napoleon Hill wrote, it was called Think and Grow Rich. He said, you have to have a definite plan of purpose. That's how he said it then. But let me just say it a little bit better. You have to have a definite plan with a purpose. Let me say that again. You have to have a definite plan with a purpose. The plan has to have a purpose to do certain things daily in your life, not just monthly, yearly. You have long-term goals, but daily, you have to have goals set so your mind doesn't sway. You don't spend the entire day doing things that are ineffective, watching CNN and Fox News all day. Those people are not going to make you rich and successful. They're not going to keep your mind right. If you watch that too much, you're going to be more negative and destructive as ever. I'm not telling you not to keep your eye open to news, but don't get caught up in the politics of things. Most of that stuff's not news. It's their opinion of something. And the strongest opinion that's going to transform you is your own opinion of you. And the best way to do that is write things down. Brian Tracy said it best. My wife gets the credit because she said it first, but he said he interviewed over 50 entrepreneurs that were millionaires and billionaires. He said 99% of them, with the exception of maybe one person, do the same thing daily. They write down daily goals and habits, and they form a habit of doing things. They keep all the negative stuff out, things they shouldn't be doing. That's keeping things from manifesting, keeping their companies from growing. They keep those things off that list. They only write things on the list that's conducive to what they're trying to do for that day, so they get the most productivity out of that day. Number one, power of spoken word. Number two, have a definite plan of purpose, a definite plan with a purpose written down daily so you can achieve and accomplish more in one day than you probably can in a whole year of not writing things down. Most people go by through life just given, they take what's given to them and they never really say, you know what, I'm going to take control of my own life. The God in me, right? The word says Christ in me is the hope of glory, not Christ up there and out there somewhere. Most of you Christians out there and other people, you're waiting on God to come and do something for you when you've been empowered to do it yourself. And you do that by spoken word, writing things down, and sticking to a plan of action daily. But Arlene gets the credit for that because she told me, this is it. This is, Jimmy, you have to start doing this again. And we did it, and we're doing it now. And in the last 90 days, even though it was very rough, we had a lot of loss. When I say loss, guys, we probably lost over $1 million in our businesses because of, partnering with the wrong people and just circumstances, We turned things around. And it's turning back in the right direction. Notice I said we. The Most High is in us, but we had to do the work and make the adjustments without complaining, without falling down saying, oh, woe is me. It's okay to be depressed, but don't stay there. You got to find a way to get out of it. And these are the ways to do that. I want to see all of you prosper and make it. I want to see you be the best you that you can ever be in life. But it's going to take commitment. You already have the drive. If you listen to this broadcast or this video this long, you have the drive, you have the tenacity, you have the wherewithal and the fortitude to do it. Now you have to follow the instruction. Get to work. Be the best you that you can possibly be. If you need help, again, with the depression, you need to reach out and get some help. Don't just sit there and be depressed. If you're in poverty, you got to change your mindset. You got to get around people that have something, that want something. They don't have to be multimillionaires, but they have to be going in that direction. They have to have the mindset to want to do more for other people. That's how you get successful. Put in your mind that you're going to do for more people than you ever thought possible. Get products and services in their hands, and you'll get paid. You'll be rewarded financially. If you have the mindset, I want $1 million, I want to just sit here and wait for God to give it to me, you're going to die broke, right? If you're waiting to get help for depression, you may do something to yourself, and I don't want to see you do that. We've had enough tragedy and loss in this country and in the world by the day. What's going on in Hawaii, that's tragic. That's been going on in California for many years. It hadn't happened as of late, but, and it's not just our country. What's going on in Europe and Africa and Australia and all these other nations? things are going on there too, right? But we can change it, and it happens with us. I hope this meant something to you. I hope you got something out of it. In closing, people have been asking me to talk about what happened, the big brawl that happened in Alabama. And I'm not going to talk about it today, but I'm praying about it because as an apostle of the Most High, I only move as the Spirit of Yah moves me to speak. That brawl had more to do with not just race. It was about nation against nation. It's Bible prophecy. And it's not going to stop until certain things are done. I'm going to break it down to you. Basically, to close, those are two brothers fighting, okay? If you know the word, you know about Esau and who Jacob is. These are brothers, okay? But Jacob is chosen by the Most High. Esau was not. But it doesn't mean he can't make it into the kingdom. And you're going to be like, who is that? I thought it was just black people. It's deeper than that, guys. But I will get into that on another message. I want you to take what I gave you today, apply it. You're going to see some phenomenal results. My wife is in the background. She says, hi, we're praying for you and make it your best day ever. As I always say, I'll see you at the top or on the next video, because why? We're going to get there together. Peace and blessings. Shalom, assalamu alaikum. You know, peace, whatever you guys say. We say peace and blessings. We say assalamu alaikum to the Muslim. We say, we say shalom, shalom, shalom to Yahweh and to the people of Yah. But if you're a Christian, you say peace, whatever you say. Doesn't matter, right? To all of you that's been watching, continue to subscribe and be a part of what we're doing. We love you. Bye-bye.